Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about BMR, TDEE, and losing and gaining weight. But before we start, my name is Kyle. I'm a personal trainer. I've got a bit of knowledge in the subject, and I want to share that knowledge with you guys so you can go on to create your own goals and achieve them goals in the future. So let's start off with the first thing, BMR. So what is BMR? BMR stands for basal metabolic rate. And I'll stick the scientific term for it on the screen now and what happens with it if you want to dive a little bit deeper, but we're going to keep it really simple. BMR is basically how much energy, calories, food your body needs on a daily basis just to stay alive without moving at all, without doing any sort of activity. If you were just laid in bed, you didn't blink, you didn't move 1 inch on a daily basis, that's how many calories your body needs to survive and to go through its bodily functions and just live. So let's move on to the next one, TDEE. Okay, TDEE, this is where things get a little bit more complicated. So TDEE stands for typical daily energy expenditure. The key word there being typical. So not every single day are you going to burn the exactly same amount of calories, and there's going to be loads of variables in your daily routine that is going to change the amount of calories you burn. For example, you might walk an extra mile one day, you might walk an extra 3 miles the next day, and that is all going to take into account how many calories you burn throughout the day. So we have this little thing called activity levels, and we can multiply our BMR, basal metabolic rate, by these activity levels to get a rough estimate of the amount of calories we are going to be burning throughout the day. And they've got names for each one. So the first one, you may have heard of this, is going to be a sedentary sort of lifestyle. So this will be someone who maybe has an office job, who doesn't really leave the chair too much, and doesn't really do much activity at all throughout the day, and doesn't really go to the gym too much either. So they live a pretty sedentary lifestyle. So they would get their BMR and they would times it by 1.2. So we'll just keep it nice and simple now. If your BMR is 2000 and you times it by 1.2, you would get 2,400. Quick maths there, you can see. It's 2,400. So that would be the rough sort of estimate we would need to be hitting on a daily basis to stay the exact same weight. Like I said, this is a rough estimate. You may have to drop a little bit more to stay at your maintenance, and you may have to increase a little bit more, and it's just done by multiplication, which people a lot smarter than me worked out. But like I said, it is very, very rough. The next one after that is going to be lightly active. So this person here goes to the gym maybe 1 to 3 times a week and does moderate amount of exercise, but it's not much different from the sedentary one, and they would times their BMR by 1.375. I'm not even going to attempt to do that in my head, but I will put it on the screen for you now. That would be the sort of calories you would be aiming for to maintain if you were living a lightly active sort of lifestyle. The next one after that is going to be a moderately active lifestyle, and this person here goes to the gym probably around 4 to 5 times a week and does moderate exercise, and they would times their BMR by 1.5. The next one after that is going to be extremely active. This person here goes to the gym around about 6 to 7 times a week and works out quite hard, and they would times their BMR by 1.725. And I'm not going to attempt to do that in my head either, but I'll put it on the screen for you now. So this person goes to the gym and trains hard nearly 7 days a week, 6 to 7 days a week. They might have one day off every week. So their TDEE is going to be very, very high because they're very, very active. And the last one, this is mostly aimed at athletes, people who work out twice a day extremely hard, and they take their activity level very, very, very high in their daily routine. So they do it maybe as a job, or they get up very, very early. They do hard PT in the morning. Their job is very active, and then they do some hard PT on the night. So these guys are, not many people fall into this category. You've only got like people who are like athletes, like I said, professional sports people who do this. Maybe people that are like bricklayers, construction workers who maybe go to the gym on the morning, do a harder workout, and they still have enough energy after their full days of work in construction. They go to the gym on the night as well. So they are living a very, very active lifestyle, and it's quite unsustainable if you are working a full-time job. Like I said, if I was a construction worker and I was going to the gym early on the morning doing hard, say something like a HIIT session for 20-30 minutes, doing a full days of work, labouring and lifting heavy stuff, and then going to the gym on the night, you're going to have some sort of drive to keep up with that lifestyle. So not many people do it unless they are getting paid to do it, i.e. professional athletes. So they are the 5 categories where you can work out your TDEE. And like I said, this is very, very rough. So just because your your TDEE says that you have 2,500 calories to stay at your weight. It doesn't mean if you eat exactly 2,500 calories you're going to stay at that weight. It's very, very rough. So you might have to play around with it a little bit and drop and estimate your calories again just through trial and error. Okay, so moving on to weight loss and weight gain and how can we achieve that with our TDEE. So we've got a TDEE, typical daily energy expenditure, of around 2,500, and we would like to start losing a little bit of fat. So what we'd have to do from there is go from our maintenance calories, which is our 2,500 TDEE, down to what is known as a calorie deficit. And it's best to do this in little small increments. There's no point taking around 1,000 calories off our maintenance, so giving us 1,500 calories a day, because we'd be absolutely starving and it'd be unsustainable. So what we would do is we would get our maintenance calories, 2,500, and we would take around about 250 to start off with, or 500. 250 to 500 is the sweet spot, and it's going to cause you not to be as hungry as going into 1,000 calorie deficit of putting you down to 1,500 calories. So if we start off nice and slow, it's going to feel like we're not on a diet and we can stick to it a lot easier. And at the same time, it's going to help us maintain as much muscle as possible and keep our performance as high as possible in the gym, which is what we should all be striving to do. There's no point working hard in the gym to achieve and get muscle and then going into a massive calorie deficit and losing all of that muscle, because it's just going to make things counterintuitive, and you're not going to be in a good position when you come out of it, and you're not going to be able to stay in that calorie deficit for very long. You're going to end up binging eventually. So that is going to be the advice there. Do not go into a massive calorie deficit, because yes, at first the scale will go boom all the way down, and it'll be really good and motivational, but you're not going to be able to stick to it for very long. And typically a lot of people that do it for over a week or something like that, after it they just binge and just go straight back to day one, week one. So take it in little small increments. Find out your TDEE, like I just told you how to do there. Find your BMR. You can do that with online sites. I'll put a link in the description down below of a site how you can just find out all of these TDEEs for your activity level. You just have to put in a little bit of information. I've done this before on my channel, but it's a lot easier than doing the maths. You can just go to a website and do it, and that is going to give you roughly your TDEE. But now I'm telling you how you can create that deficit of 250 to 500 calories. And then, so for on the other end of the scale, people who would like to gain weight, you're just going to do the exact opposite. You're going to add 200 or add 500 calories in between their sweet spot. Once again, if you go too far across and you start adding 1,000 calories, you're going to start adding a lot of body fat, which is what we do not want to be doing. We want to take it nice and easy, and start gaining lean mass, muscle, nice and steadily, without gaining as much fat as possible, because there's no point being nice and slender and then increasing calories because you want to add a little bit of muscle, and then putting loads of fat on. Say you've got a six-pack and you're really happy with having a six-pack. If you increase calories too much, that is going to start to go, yes, you will start putting muscle on, but your body composition might go down the path that you do not want it to do. So that is going to be it, guys. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you got a little bit of knowledge from this, and now you can go away and create your own calorie deficit or calorie surplus, and start achieving your fat loss or weight loss goals, or weight gain goals, muscle building goals, whatever you want to call it. Hope you can do that. I'm going to stick some videos on the screen now for you guys of some workouts I've been doing recently that are going to help you build some muscle and possibly burn some fat. But let's just make sure that we're in the calorie deficit if we are burning fat, because that is what is going to drive the fat loss sort of thing. I think that's what people get hung up on the most. When trying to lose fat, they think it's all about the workout, but actually majority of it's about the diet and the calorie deficit. So have a little think about it, make some plans of your own. Check the videos out on the screen now. Catch you in the next one. Hope you got some knowledge. I appreciate you. Catch you later.